The jig is up. O jogo acabou.
Okay, you kids, the jig's up. It's time to tell him the jig is up.
Jig is up. O jogo acabou.
The jig is up, boys. He's on to us. The jig is up. You've had your last chance. The jig is up, boys, and now it's time for another trip. The jig is up, boys. Just come on out and admit it. Decker looks over his shoulder and sees that the jig is up. The jig is up. Where did you hide the stolen goods? Well, everyone knows that the jig is up once the partying begins. The jig is up, Smith. The police found your fingerprints all over the safe. The rug's been pulled. The jig is up. There is no way to get out of this one. Tally put her hands in the air mockingly and said, I guess the jig is up.
O jogo acabou. Ebb and flow. Fluxo e refluxo.
The ebb and flow of state politics and power. The ebb and flow of feeling and moods.
O fluxo e refluxo de sentimentos e humores.
The ebb and flow of feeling and moods. Have diversity, and you can ride the ebb and flow. The ebb and flow of fashion. The ebb and flow of human history. Enthusiasm for reform ebbed and flowed. That's just how business ebbs and flows. The ebb and flow of their political power.
Vai e vem, fluxo e refluxo.
The constant ebb and flow of popular opinion. It's just the natural ebb and flow of business. The ebb and flow of politics in Washington goes on as usual. The fortunes of the major political parties tend to ebb and flow over time. The ebb and flow of democracy through history is a fascinating subject. It emerges from the ebb and flow of collective grievances and struggles for power.
Grievances, lamentações.
He was fascinated by the ebb and flow of the church's influence over the centuries.
Moving target.
Eating disorders are moving targets.
Alvos móveis. Transtornos alimentares são alvos fáceis.
Eating disorders are moving targets. Environmental targets are moving targets. The point being, success is a moving target.
Alvo em movimento.
This suggests that excellence is a moving target. Eradication of poverty is always a moving target. Why consumers are moving targets for brands. The population at risk of hypertension is a moving target. Cyber threats and cyber crimes are moving targets. It confirms that social movements are moving targets. Safety is always a moving target. What's considered safe changes all the time. Relevance is a moving target. Your content can be relevant to different people at different times for different reasons.
What's the matter? Qual o problema?
You look worried. What's the matter? Why are you crying? What's the matter? Ouch! What's the matter? I bit my tongue. Can you tell me what's the matter with my car? What's the matter? You look as though you've been crying. What's the matter with you? I have this funny feeling in my chest. I have to stay home again today. What's the matter with you? Have you seen a doctor? Oh, I'm so miserable. What's the matter? I lost my contact lenses and my glasses. What's the matter with that girl? Can't she take a gentle hint?
Pista suave, gentle hit.
What's the matter with you? Dude, what we're doing isn't cool. I don't know what's the matter with that guy, he observed reproachfully. What's the matter with you, man? Have you no sense of hygiene?
Hygiene, higiene.
I think I just lost the Wilson account. What? What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you, man? Why are you standing here gawking at her?
Caramba.
What's the matter with that guy? He should be thankful that he's still not locked up. What's the matter with you? The party is in 15 minutes, and now we have no cake.
Where all is said and done. Afinal de contas.
When all's said and done, he's only a kid.
Afinal de contas, ele é só uma criança.
When all's said and done, he's only a kid. When all is said and done, you can only do your best. When all is said and done, we always have each other's back. When all is said and done, we'll reconcile. We always do. When all is said and done, she's the best person for the job. When all was said and done, it was only a game, not real life. When all is said and done, it doesn't really matter who wins or loses. When all is said and done, this isn't such a bad part of the country to live in.
No fim das contas.
When all is said and done, I believe I had a very enjoyable time on my vacation. When all is said and done, you will find it is a smaller project than it appeared.
Afinal de contas.
When all is said and done, it's not totally a bad thing that our brains naturally look for the negative.
Get the better of.
They just got the better of us from the start. He was determined to have the better of his competitors.
Dominar.
He fought fiercely, but his opponent easily got the better of him.
Ou dominou, got the better.
Djokovic finally got the better of Murray in a hard-fought match. It would be hard to get the better of someone as experienced as she is. He is used to tough defenders, and he usually gets the better of them. My curiosity finally got the better of me, and I opened the letter. She didn't allow her emotions to get the better of her. I'm letting my human common sense get the better of me. I allowed my feelings to get the better of me. Her anger got the better of her, and she blew up. Her curiosity got the better of her, and she opened the door and peeped inside. Smith's anger got the better of him once again, and he started to attack the referee.
Spread on his wings.
College gave her a chance to spread her wings.
Expandiu os horizontes.
I want to get the chance to spread my wings. Lots of children have gone to university and spread their wings. I know if you just spread your wings, you'll be a really successful writer. I feel like I really want to spread my wings and see what's out there for me. I was 23 and still living with my parents. I just felt it was time to spread my wings. Studying at university should help you to spread your wings and become independent. A year spent studying abroad should allow him to spread his wings a bit. Michelle has been in the show since she left school and feels like she needs to spread her wings. It's
Expandir
time for him to leave home and
os
stretch his
horizontes.
wings. They certainly seem to want to stretch their wings. You have to stretch your wings as a woodworker, or else you're going to get bored with it. Sometimes as an artist, you have to stretch your wings and go beyond what you think you can do.
Next thing you know. Quando me dei conta.
The next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground.
Quando me dei conta, estava deitado no chão.
Next thing she knew, he got on one knee and proposed to her.
Quando ela se deu conta,
You look away for a moment and next thing you know, you're old. The next thing I knew, there were police officers all over the place.
quando me dei conta,
I slipped, and the next thing I knew, I was lying face up on the ground.
quando me dei conta,
The next thing I knew, I was laying on Eddie's couch with a splitting headache. I was just walking down the road, and the next thing I knew, someone was pointing a gun at my face. The next thing I know, a gunman runs into the bank and starts screaming at us to get on the ground. And the next thing you know, you are lined up at the bar, pouring drinks down your throat.
no time like the present. Não há por que esperar.
Go ahead and call him. There's no time like the present. Should we do it now? Sure, there's no time like the present. When should we start cleaning up the house? No time like the present. You know, there's no time like the present to confess your love to your partner. There's no time like the present, so let's go ahead and get the application started. When do you want to meet? Well, there's no time like the present. How about today?
Não há por que esperar.
When do you want me to start the decorating? Well, no time like the present, is there? Don't wait until New Year to resolve to organize your life. There's no time like the present. When do you want me to start cleaning the house? Well, there's no time like the present. Start studying for the big exam now, instead of waiting till the night before. There's no time like the present.
Pet peeve.
I have a lot of pet peeves.
Eu tenho muitas coisas que me incomodam particularmente.
I have a lot of pet peeves.
Pet peeves.
Weak coffee is one of my pet peeves.
Coisas que incomodam. Pet peeves.
Grammatical mistakes are his pet peeve. Dirty dishes in restaurants are my pet peeve. Drivers who don't signal are John's pet peeve. Seeing dogs wear clothes is a pet peeve for some. One of my biggest pet peeves is poor customer service. One of my biggest pet peeves is the overuse of the term best friend. My pet peeve is that neighbor's cat running through my herb garden. It's always been my pet peeve when cars turn without using their signals. One of my biggest pet peeves is people driving too slowly on the highway. My pet peeve is someone who always comes into the theater after the show has started.
Incomoda particularmente.
Ugh, I hate it when people talk during a movie. Oh, I know, that's my pet peeve, too. My pet peeve is mushy guys that want to see you 24/7 and worship the ground you walk on.
Is that so? É mesmo?
He owns 20 cars. Is that so? I used to be a millionaire back in the 80s. Is that so? Tom is the one who came in late. Is that so?
É
It looked
mesmo?
like Bill to me. These are the ones we need. Is that right? They don't look so good to me. I've just found out that Professor Sartorius is going to be our next department chair. Is that so? That's very interesting. You are making a mess of this. Is that so? And I suppose that you're perfect. Is that so? That's another week's suspension for you, Mr. Berman.
Ah, é?
If you don't shut your mouth, I'll kick you out of the house. Is that so? You just try it.
Ah, é? Só tente.
I found your performance to be weak in a number of places. Is that right? I suppose you could have done better. Is that a fact? I had no idea she used to be a professional golfer.
É mesmo?
So Greg is the best one for the promotion, huh? Is that a fact?
Is that a fact? É mesmo?
I'd be rich if J.K. Rowling didn't steal my idea. Is that a fact? Gee, too bad for you. You mean you flown to Paris 3 times just this month? Is that a fact? Just wait, I'll be promoted over you before the year is out. Oh yeah, is that so? She says I'm one of the best students she's ever taught. Is that a fact?
None the wiser. None the wiser, sem saber de nada.
It was closed though, so we're still none the wiser.
Sem saber de nada.
I was so quiet that my parents are none the wiser. We're still none the wiser about the future of our jobs. We're still none the wiser about the true cause of the accident. I borrowed his car and returned it, and he was none the wiser. Just fill up the tank before they come back, and they'll be none the wiser. I've read the manual twice, but I'm still none the wiser. I've read the instructions, but I'm still none the wiser. I was none the wiser about black holes after the lecture.
Sem entender, né?
At the end of his frustrating book, I was left none the wiser. He explained it to me many times, but his lesson left me none the wiser. He tried to explain the tax structure, but in the end, I was none the wiser.
Nice going. Andou bem.
Nice going yesterday, Russ. Nice going, Tyler. I don't know how you did it, but nice going. Well, I'm glad that's over. Nice going, John. You did a good job. You crashed your car? Oh, nice going. Nice going, frowned Jane, as Tom upset the bowl of potato chips. You delete posts of your loyal customers. Nice going there. Hey, nice going destroying our precious architectural history in return for American chain stores. Nice job, Bill. Thanks, Tom. Thank you, Nina. Nice job.
Bom trabalho.
You gave your first sermon today. Nice job. So, nice job on the song today. I guess I really messed it up. Nice job, Fred. You've now messed us all up. Nice job taking away Hitchens' book profits by linking to that video. Nice job wiping out all of 2018's stock market gains, you dimwit.
Ripping out, aniquilando.
Way to go, dork. Nice job ruining the adventure.
Muito bem, idiota. Belo trabalho arruinando a aventura.
Way to go, dork. Nice job ruining the adventure.
All the rage. Na moda.
They're all the rage now. Karaoke is all the rage these days. Internet shopping is now all the rage. Short hair is all the rage at the moment. The 1950s look is all the rage at the moment. Disco music was all the rage in the 1970s. In the 1940s, the Lindy Hop was all the rage.
Última moda.
Thanks. Cheetah print is all the rage right now. Long hair for men was all the rage in the 70s. I can't believe that stupid dance is all the rage right now. Wearing a robe instead of a belt was all the rage in those days.
Under honest belt. Em seu conjunto de experiência.
10 years of service under his belt. He had a linguistics degree under his belt.
Entre suas conquistas.
Minnie has over 400 wins under his belt. This fighter pilot has over 20 kills under his belt. Finally, she got good painting techniques under her belt. You need to get a few more qualifications under your belt. When I get the right procedures under my belt, I will be more efficient.
Em meu conjunto de habilidades.
Liszt had 3 years of intensive concertizing under his belt. Now that you've got the required courses under your belt, you can take some electives. Once a medical student has anatomy under her belt, she'll have much less to memorize. With a few months of experience under his belt, he kept up handily with the veteran employees. He should be less cranky after he gets some food under his belt. I need to have something filling under my belt.
Enchendo meu estômago.
I've had it with just soup. I want to get a nice juicy steak under my belt.
Stay put.
Just stay put and I'll get the car.
Fique parado.
She told Clarissa to stay put. Stay put until I get back.
Fique aqui até voltar.
Stay put. I'll be back in a minute. Just stay put with the suitcases while I go and find a cab. I'm coming. Just stay put till I get there. He stays put in Philadelphia, refusing to move to LA. I want you kids to stay put while I go into the store, okay? I want you kids to stay put while I go into the store, okay? And you stayed put for all these years? We've decided to stay put and not move to Florida. If the children just stay put, their parents will come for them soon. Despite firm intentions to explore, campers tend to stay put. He was forced by his condition to stay put and remain out of politics. Nigel says, for the moment he is very happy to stay put in Lyon.
Ainda não.
Let's ask Bob. He's in the know.
Ele está por dentro.
Sure, I'm in the know, but I'm not telling. He had a tip from a friend in the know. He's in the know about the mayor's plans. When it comes to coding, Jenny is definitely in the know. Anyone who is in the know doesn't shop there. He appears to be in the know about such matters. Those in the know don't shop at that kind of store. Not too many people are in the know about this project. I think I can get myself in the know very quickly, though. Only a few of us were in the know about the date of the wedding. People in the know say that this is the best Spanish wine you can buy. She's on the executive board, so she's in the know about a lot of things.
All over.
It's all over between us.
Está tudo acabado entre nós.
I can't believe it's all over. The war was all over and the soldiers came home. By the time I arrived, the game was all over. Now that she passed the test, her problems are all over with. They're going to play the piece all over.
Do início novamente.
They really need to start it all over. You will have to do them all over. I'm sorry. I had to do them all over.
Eu tive que fazê-los do início novamente.
I had to do them all over. The whole process started all over again.
Mais uma vez.
He doesn't want the hassle all over again. He had to prove himself all over again. Do you mean you're starting all over again? If the teacher doesn't like your essay, you have to do it all over again. There were bodies all over. Doctors who work all over the country. This is happening all over our country. I study with people from all over the world. The letters she received from people all over the world. I was shaking all over. She then gave me an all-over massage.
All over, por todo o corpo.
The very thought of poison ivy makes me itch all over. I'm shaking all over and sweating, and my legs feel weak. By the time I was finished, I was hurting all over again. See, that's you all over. That's our management all over.
Essa é a nossa administração escrita.
That's our management all over. That's Mary all over. That's him all over. Irreverent, outspoken, outrageously good company. James was all over her.
Todo interessado nela.
Becky was all over Mike. If I were 15 years younger, I'd be all over her, he thought. I went to the party and I had women all over me.
A feather in one's cap. Motivo de orgulho para ela.
If this clinical trial is successful, it will be a real feather in her cap.
Motivo de orgulho para ela. Se este ensaio clínico for bem sucedido, vai ser verdadeiro motivo de orgulho para ela.
If this clinical trial is successful, it will be a real feather in her cap. I can't wait until I'm named valedictorian. It's such a feather in my cap. Earning that full scholarship to Yale is quite a feather in his cap. Getting a new client was really a feather in my cap.
Motivo de orgulho para mim.
John earned a feather in his cap by getting an A in physics.
Motivo para se orgulhar.
It's a real feather in his cap to represent his country in the Olympics. It was a definite feather in his cap to have attended such a famous university. Hauptmann's arrest is a feather in the cap of the New Jersey police. Beating him would be a feather in my cap. That's a feather in your cap, someone told me today. Entertaining the Queen was undoubtedly a feather in my cap.
Motivo de orgulho para mim.
It's a bit of a feather in their cap if they can keep him quiet. It's a real feather in our cap to be playing in the state championship.
Bite the dust.
A shot rang out and another cowboy bit the dust.
Beat the dust. Morreu.
The soldier was too young to bite the dust. We were so lucky to avoid that massive accident. We might have bitten the dust.
Ter morrido.
A Wild West showman nearly bit the dust when he blew himself up making blank bullets in his garden shed.
Morrido. Beat the dust.
I have to go buy a new blender because mine bit the dust today.
Parou de funcionar.
My old backpack finally bit the dust the other day. My old car finally bit the dust. This pen is out of ink and has bitten the dust. Judging by all that noise coming from her car, I'm pretty sure it's about to bite the dust. I think our car just bit the dust. Sadly, it doesn't take long for the latest technological innovations to bite the dust.
Se tornaram obsoletas. By the dust.
Quite a few restaurants have bitten the dust recently.
Faliram.
The 1990 election saw both of our senators bite the dust. Thousands of small businesses bite the dust every year. In the last 30 years, many cherished values have bitten the dust.
Proper hand. Tirar vantagem.
To have the upper hand in the fight.
Ter vantagem.
And yet she seemed so entirely to have the upper hand over him. It's halftime, and the Spanish football team seemed to have the upper hand. The Prime Minister has an upper hand in the decision-making. was determined not to let the opposition get the upper hand. Finally gained the upper hand in the argument. She wanted an upper hand in the business. The upper hand is given to those who take it. He usually has the upper hand because he's older. Each strives to gain the upper hand in military might. Both teams strove to gain the upper hand, but were very evenly matched. She had the upper hand, and she was using it well to her advantage.
Set em concrete. Não são imutáveis. Ou são.
The rules are not set in concrete. As Mr. Blunkett emphasized, nothing is yet set in concrete.
Set em concrete.
With expenditure plans now set in concrete for 3 years, slower growth would mean higher taxes.
Set em concrete definidos.
With expenditure plans now set in concrete for 3 years, slower growth would mean higher taxes. Nothing is set in concrete yet for Robert's running future, but she's happy she's back. It does seem like a lot of these proposals are already set in concrete. The budget is not set in concrete. The comprehensive plan is still in draft form, Thomas said, so nothing is set in concrete. The sale conditions must be set in concrete. These days, political beliefs are so set in concrete that people aren't going to change their minds. We don't have a date set in concrete.
Never mind.
I'll go up in 1 second, I promise. Never mind.
Deixa pra lá.
Was his name David? No, I don't think it was, but never mind. Go on. Dorothy, come on. Never mind your shoes. They'll soon dry off. Feuder didn't seem to think so. Never mind what Feuder said. Never mind, you're all right now. Never mind his remarks, he's just jealous. I want to get this for your kids. Never mind the cost. The store's shut, but never mind. We can come back tomorrow. Do you still want that shopping done? No, never mind. It's too late now. I can't tread water, never mind swim.
Imagine nadar.
I can't tread water, never mind swim. With this knee, I can hardly walk, never mind run. I'm sick of snow already, never mind by the end of the winter. He can barely write a coherent email, never mind an entire book. I never thought she'd win once, never mind twice.
My money says.
My money says they will get it right.
Eu aposto que eles vão acertar.
My money says she did keep it. My money says we won't know till Friday.
Eu aposto que.
My money says that he's the one who called the shot. My money says she did it, or had it done. My money says we won't see President Obama. My money says that Clinton and Obama colluded with Russia. My money's on Brazil to win the World Cup. My money is on her being right. The smart money is on the A's to win the series. If we're taking bets, my money's on it having absolutely nothing to do. My money's on Mourinho having his usual third season meltdown and leaving by New Year's.
Crack wise.
He started to crack wise again.
Bancar o espertinho.
She was funny, without mugging or cracking wise. You were always one to crack wise, my friend. If you keep cracking wise, you're going to get in trouble.
Bancar o espertinho.
I taught him how to crack wise, American style. Don't crack wise about the Brewster sisters. Basically, 3 old friends, jamming and cracking wise all night. Nobody used it as a moment to crack wise at my expense. Pee-wee is the jokester of the group, always ready to crack wise. Despite his cynicism and his cracking wise, he's always moral and helpful. You know, people can't hear you when you nod on the phone, Eric said, cracking wise.
Fazendo graça, crack wise.
She manages to be the strong hero, always cracking wise, but never forgetting that she is a 16-year-old girl.
Broad strokes.
In broad strokes, this is true.
Em linhas gerais, isso é verdade.
I don't need every detail of the event. Just tell me about it in broad brush strokes.
Em linhas gerais.
Describe your idea in broad strokes, just so I can get a sense of it.
Em linhas gerais.
Both shed new light on the proposal in broad strokes.
Em linhas gerais.
Orville and the rest of the characters are painted in broad strokes. The speech will lay out in broad strokes the 2 candidates' differing approaches. There's very little subtlety in the play. Its characters are painted in broad brush strokes.
Em traços muito genéricos.
The president made his proposals in broad strokes. Maxwell spoke in broad strokes about his own platform. In broad strokes, asexuality means not feeling sexual attraction toward others. In broad strokes, what's expected is a fresh round of sparring between developers. In broad strokes, we often think of a psychological disorder involving extreme distress.
Lo and behold.
I was in Vienna sitting quietly in a cafe when, lo and behold, my cousin walked in.
Quando eis que,
I walked into the restaurant, and lo and behold, there was my boss with his wife. Lo and behold, there is Fred. He beat us here by taking a shortcut.
pasmem, lá está o Fred. Ele chegou aqui mais rápido que nós, pegando o atalho.
Lo and behold, there is Fred. He beat us here by taking a shortcut. He put her out of his mind. Then, lo and behold, months later, she turned up again. He called the Minister of the Interior, and lo and behold, the prisoners were released. And lo and behold, there are hardly any women coaches out there, too. Then he went into hip-hop, and lo and behold, it turned out fine.
Pasmem.
And lo and behold, it turns out it was exactly a year ago today. So she went and turned the TV on, and lo and behold, there he was on television. I was walking through Chelsea last night, when lo and behold, I see a laundromat. And lo and behold, I think he's out of the government now, which is a really good thing. I'd been searching for my glasses all over the house when, lo and behold, they were on my head the whole time.
Slip one's mind.
I meant to pick up the wine, but it slipped my mind.
Eu tinha a intenção de pegar o vinho, mas me esqueci.
I meant to buy some milk, but it completely slipped my mind.
Me esqueci.
I'm sorry I didn't call you back sooner. It totally slipped my mind. I'm sorry I forgot your birthday. It just slipped my mind. I forgot I'd arranged to meet Richard last night. It completely slipped my mind. I was supposed to call her this morning, and it slipped my mind. The reason for my visit had obviously slipped his mind. How could she have let something so important slip her mind? I meant to go to the grocery store on the way home, but it slipped my mind. My birthday slipped my mind. I guess I wanted to forget it. You think something as important as that would slip my mind?
Escapar na memória? Be done for.
If the guard sees us, we're done for.
Estamos acabados.
We thought our young hero was done for. We all thought we were done for when the boat started to sink. With no means of escape, the stranded climbers knew that they were done for.
Estamos acabados.
If the boss finds out that I was the one who messed up that report, I'm done for.
Eu estou acabado.
Now that Mom knows about it, our scheme is done for. Before he went to the hospital, it seemed as if he was done for. I'm really done for. I'm going to bed. This old computer is just about done for. I have a big exam on Thursday, but I am so tired and done for. The blender stopped working again this morning. I really think it's done for this time.
Et one's period. Por sua conta e risco.
Neglect our advice at your peril.
At your peril. Por sua conta e risco.
Politicians ignore this issue at their peril. Those who cross him do so at their peril. Ignore it at your peril. We neglect this aspect of religion at our peril. Anyone who breaks the law does so at their peril.
Por sua conta e risco.
Restaurants that ignore the smoking ban do so at their peril. No lifeguard is on duty. Swim at your own peril. Those who skydive do so at their own peril. We ignore the risks from increasing antibiotic resistance at our peril. We soon discovered that you disobeyed Clara at your peril. People who go climbing in winter do so at their own peril. You go in Mike's car at your peril. He's a terrible driver. Seeing as you've met my family, don't you think I should meet yours?
Já que você conhece a minha família,
I might as well do something useful, seeing as I'm back, she said.
já que estou de volta,
We may as well go to the concert, seeing as we've already paid for the tickets.
visto que já pagamos pelos ingressos.
But seeing as you won't tell me anything, I have to use other sources. I thought you might like that. Seeing as you're so keen on birds. Seeing as this man is a doctor, I would assume he has a modicum of intelligence. Seeing as how things were getting worse, she decided to do something. Seeing as how I have a headache, I won't be going to work today.
Tendo em vista, sim, as how.
Seeing as how the Japanese are so complacent, I doubt anything will change. Seeing as how most of my problems are tax problems, would it make more sense to hire a tax attorney? Seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come.
Tendo em vista,
Seeing that you're coming anyhow, I decided not to take notes for you. Seeing that it's pouring rain and all, how about we reschedule the picnic? Seeing that she has no money, Sally won't be going shopping. Seeing that it's raining, we won't go to the beach.
for kicks.
They're not there for kicks.
Eles não estão lá por diversão.
We just did it for kicks. They made a few small bets for kicks.
Por diversão.
It was mostly just for kicks, Bachtold said. We play for kicks, not for money. There's a lot of people who just do it for kicks. Just for kicks, let's order dessert first. They destroyed the telephone boxes just for kicks.
Só por diversão.
Why did he steal the car? Just for kicks. He was bored. We just did it for kicks. We didn't mean to hurt anyone. There wasn't much to do for kicks, other than drive around in our car all night. There's a group of kids who go around smashing car windows for kicks.
Por diversão, for kicks. Straight from the horse's mouth.
I know it's true, because I got it straight from the horse's mouth.
Diretamente da fonte.
Go talk to him, and hear it straight from the horse's mouth. It's true. What you heard is true. I know, since I heard it straight from the horse's mouth. That news came straight from the horse's mouth, so it's true. I won't believe it until I get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Diretamente da fonte, horse's mouth.
This information came straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. I know that they are getting married. I heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
Diretamente da fonte.
I know it's true. I heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Most of the book is completely true. It comes from the horse's mouth. I have it from the horse's mouth that he plans to retire next month. This comes straight from the horse's mouth, so it has to be believed. Sue is going to have a baby. Who told you that? I got it straight from the horse's mouth.
Up one's alley. A sua praia.
This job would be right up your alley.
Este trabalho seria bem a sua praia.
This new role is up his alley. It's not exactly up my alley, but I'll try it.
A minha especialidade.
I thought this little problem would be right up your alley. Writing press releases is right up her alley. Kate loves dancing, so salsa lessons would be right up her alley.
O cheiro dela.
She had realized that acting was right up her alley.
Era dela.
He loved opera, so this program of arias was right down his alley. This case seems right down your alley. I really like romantic poetry, so this class on John Keats is right up my alley.
O meu estilo.
I'm sure Dave can fix your car. Mechanical things like that are really up his alley. I'm sure she'll go to the film festival with you. That's right up her alley.
Ali.
This should be right up my alley, but despite the film's special effects, I found it rather boring. I'm just kicking it.
Eu só estou relaxando.
Let's kick it at my club. We're kicking it at the beach. Most weekends, I'll just kick it with my friends. I need a few minutes to kick it, then I'll get back in the game. Hey, you want to come over and kick it later? Want to go to a rave tonight? Nah, I'm going to kick it at my neighbor's place. While she's gone, we're kicking it at Hotel Nana. This time tomorrow, we'll be kicking it down at Jasper Winery. See you there?
Curtindo, kicking it.
'Cause a year from now, when you kicking it in the Caribbean, you gonna say to yourself, Marcellus Wallace was right. He was constantly in fear of putting his foot in his mouth.
Putting his foot in his mouth. Falar inadvertidamente.
He was constantly in fear of putting his foot in his mouth. I really put my foot in my mouth during the interview. The author seems to be putting his foot in his mouth.
Falando inadvertidamente.
Although I did, for the most part, manage to avoid putting my foot in my mouth. I really put my foot in my mouth. I was so embarrassed. He just tends to put his foot in his mouth when he's had too much to drink.
Falar inadvertidamente.
Have you ever put your foot in your mouth? I put my foot in it by telling John's secret. He found out. I didn't know it was a surprise party. I guess I put my foot in it. One of his many problems is that he constantly puts his foot in it. I really put my foot in it when I asked her about her job. I didn't know she had just been fired. Speaking of sports ministers, it seems they all have a knack for putting their foot in it.
Be that way.
Well, that shouldn't be that way. If it can't be that way, then I'll just be all by myself. It seemed that it would always be that way. I didn't mean it to be that way, my dear. There's a lot of role models if you want to be that way. You didn't choose to be that way. Maybe he was always that way, but we just didn't know. She's just that way, always has been. Fine, be that way, but there's the door. Be that way then, she said.
Nem ligo. Ela disse.
Don't be that way, girl. Okay, be that way. See if I care. Be that way if you want, but remember, you're the one who screwed up here. Fine then, be that way, he said. That way? What does that mean exactly?
Be that as it may. Seja como for.
But be that as it may, this punishment is much too severe.
Seja como for.
Be that as it may, I just can't stay any later at work tonight. Be that as it may, you must still carry out your responsibilities. Be that as it may, I still cannot help you. Be that as it may, I can't take your place on Monday. Be that as it may, his work is just not good enough. Be that as it may, there is an urgent need for the facility.
Seja como for.
My dad was a nice man, a gentleman. Be that as it may, he hated conservatives. Be that as it may, I still think he should come. Be that as it may, all of us need order. Be that as it may, I still think Mr. Livingston is the best man for the job. He was only joking. Be that as it may, silly remarks like that can do a lot of harm.
It takes two to tango. Ninguém faz nada sozinho.
We succeeded because we worked together. After all, it takes two to tango.
Ninguém faz nada sozinho. Takes two to tango.
I can't do it by myself, and neither can you. It takes two to tango. I don't care who started it. It takes two to tango. Don't blame me for the argument. It takes two to tango. We will never reach an agreement unless we sit down for a discussion. It takes two to tango. The bill will never be passed unless both parties bury their differences and work out a compromise. It takes two to tango. It's not right to blame only the other woman for his adulterous affair. It takes two to tango. It's a love song about telling someone to understand that it takes two to tango. Blame whoever you want to, but it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango, and we must all take responsibility for our own contribution to the dynamic.
If all else fails. Se tudo der errado,
If all else fails, you can always sell your motorbike. If all else fails, she can ask her father for money. If all else fails, we can always order pizza. Let's try phoning her at this number and then emailing her. If all else fails, we can always contact her parents. If all else fails, I could always drive a truck. Only try this method if all else fails. Well, if all else fails, that part of the agreement would be suspended. Run from the danger, then hide from the danger, and if all else fails, fight. If all else fails, maybe it's time to ask for a raise or find a better paying job. If all else fails, you may have to force shut down and restart your device.
in a fit of pike.
He stormed out in a fit of pique.
Pique. Ele saiu num ataque de raiva.
He stormed out in a fit of pique. In a fit of pique, I threw it all away. He was said to have acted in a fit of pique.
No ataque de raiva. In a fit of pique.
In a fit of pique, he unfriended many of them on Facebook. In a fit of pique, Chairman William Callahan abandoned his plan. Trump, in a fit of pique, announces his intention to quit the trade pact. Lawrence, in a fit of pique, left the army and took up a career in the city. So in a fit of pique, he bought a gun and flew to Miami to confront the couple. And rather than dismiss this explanation in a fit of pique, it's worth taking it seriously. It's tempting to shut the app in a fit of pique as soon as you get an answer wrong.
On the nose.
This one presents peppery spice on the nose.
Apimentado ao olfato.
A touch of citrus on the nose.
Toque de cítrico ao olfato.
The dominant smell on the nose is of lemon sherbet.
Sorvete de limão. Sherbet.
The wine is pungently smoky and peppery on the nose. Her predictions were right on the nose.
Foram certeiras.
He guessed the final score on the nose.
Na mosca.
Predicted the final score on the nose. The budget should hit the $136 billion target on the nose. You hit it on the nose when you said she has a controlling personality. At 10 on the nose, the van pulled up. All three of them were at the appointed place, right on the nose. True to his word, the detective arrived at 1:38 p.m. on the nose.
Exatamente nessa hora.
Then Vladimir showed at the restaurant, promptly at 7 on the nose.
On the clock.
The busload of students arrived at the museum at 10 o'clock, right on the nose. It was all a bit on the nose, if you ask me.
Não foi nada sutil, na minha opinião.
It was all a bit on the nose, if you ask me. The symbolism was a tad on the nose. Still, even though the metaphor is kind of on the nose, it works really well.
É pouco exagerada, on the nose.
Wearing that floral dress to a garden party was a little on the nose, wouldn't you say?
Off being. Way of being está totalmente equivocado.
My guess was way off beam. Our guesses were way off beam. Everything she says is a little off beam.
Pouco equivocado.
He's way off the beam with that argument.
Muito errado.
For one thing, the basic premise is completely off beam. He wasn't just slightly off beam, but totally wrong on all three counts. Comments like the system is going to collapse, I think, are just way off beam. So you get a variety of views, but some of them are way off beam. By and large, SRI's survey was right on the beam. That's the right idea. Now you're on the beam. She's not on the beam yet. Explain it to her again.
Ela ainda não entendeu.
That is exactly right. You are right on the beam.
Você está no caminho certo. Day of Reckoning. Dia de ajuste de contas.
The day of reckoning seemed to have come. A day of reckoning will come for those in the security service. So all your supposed merit will vanish when the day of reckoning comes. Economists say we may be headed toward a day of reckoning.
Dia de ajuste de contas.
The day of reckoning cannot be postponed indefinitely. There will be a day of reckoning for our lying prime minister. Continue on as you have, and a day of reckoning will find you. He just hung on as long as he could until the day of reckoning. This was the final hour and his day of reckoning. Nothing but firmness and strict justice will avert a bloody day of reckoning. The day of reckoning was distant, but it came at last, as it always does to every sinner of us all.
Carrot and the stick.
The carrot and stick approach has paid off.
A abordagem de recompensas e punições valeu a pena.
The carrot and stick approach has paid off. I find that a carrot and stick approach works best. The carrot and stick style of sales management.
Recompensas e punições.
She favored a carrot and stick approach to teaching. The government is proclaiming a carrot and stick approach to the problem. Protests continued, however, so the authorities substituted the carrot for the stick. And if your powers of persuasion prove insufficient, here's a carrot and stick policy.
Recompensas e ameaças.
Sometimes I just have to resort to the carrot and stick approach with my children. Congress wants to use a carrot and stick approach to force both sides to negotiate. Using a mixture of carrot and stick, the authorities encouraged obedience from citizens. It appears that Washington's new carrot and stick policy may already have brought results.
Be on the same wavelength. Estão em sintonia.
They are on the same wavelength. We're just always on the same wavelength.
Sintonia.
Dad is just on a different wavelength from me. So we're on the same wavelength about the proposal? You and I are on the same wavelength about this. I find him difficult to talk to. We're on completely different wavelengths. On the subject of marriage, Judith and I are on the same wavelength. Luckily, my husband and I are on the same wavelength about how to raise our kids. You and your supervisor need to be on the same wavelength about referrals. They were rarely on the same wavelength about stuff like clothes and hair and nails.
The gloves are off. O conflito vai escalar.
Now, though, the gloves are off. Now the gloves are off, and a serious confrontation is expected.
Não há mais restrição para o conflito.
I'm sick of being nice to you. The gloves are off now, you ungrateful thing. For the banks chasing this growing business, the gloves are now definitely off. It's said that the gloves are off in the custody battle between Jones and Miller. Well, the gloves are off now. Mom and Aunt Gertrude are screaming at each other in the kitchen. Bob got mad and yelled, "Okay, the gloves are off," and started cussing and pounding the table. The gloves are off in this match. Both teams are purposely committing fouls against opposing players. With more than 5 months left until Election Day, it is somewhat early for the gloves to come off. The gloves already came off between Governor Gregor and Attorney General Rob McKenna. That means the gloves will come off, or, to use another metaphor, the debates will resemble the end of a Quentin Tarantino movie. The gloves are coming off in a legislative fight. In the software price war, the gloves are coming off. The gloves are coming off in Boston's mayoral race. This time, though, he's taking off the gloves. It is time for the Dems to take off the gloves. It's time for the prosecution to take the gloves off and introduce their key witness. You can tell that she's taken the gloves off now. Just look at the ferocity and focus in her eyes. The president is apparently waiting until after the convention to take the gloves off and really begin the campaign.
Throw one's weight around. Era rudemente autoritário.
His teammates didn't appreciate how he threw his weight around. The boss came in, yelling and generally throwing his weight around. I'm sick of Don coming into these meetings and throwing his weight around. The district manager came to our office and tried to throw his weight around.
Ser rudemente autoritário.
He didn't swagger or throw his weight around. Don't try to throw your weight around in this office. We know who our boss is. I think a lot of us feel that there are too many senior doctors throwing their weight around. Jim was a tyrant who threw his weight around when it came to punishing his students. You can expect the big industries to throw their weight around in order to influence the regulations. I'll bet he was a real jerk around enlisted men, always throwing his weight around. He started throwing his weight around, shouting at everyone and telling them what to do.
Play hardball. Jogar duro.
We're prepared to play hardball with the company. Reporters asked the president some hardball questions. He wasn't ready for the hardball politics of Washington. The president has decided to play hardball on this issue.
Jogar duro.
He's a nice guy, but he can play hardball when he has to. When it came to playing hardball, nobody beat Roger Ford. He needed to finish this now, and that meant playing hardball. She is playing hardball in a world dominated by men 20 years her senior. If he wants to play hardball with us, we can play that way too. You may find yourself in a situation with a client that is playing hardball. It's only a month before the election, and I'm sure they'll start to play hardball. I think it's time we play hardball with the suspect. He's not going to talk otherwise.
Over and above. Para além de seu.
He gets a big annual bonus over and above his basic salary.
Para além de.
He earns a large amount over and above his salary. Travel expenses over and above entertainment costs. Over and above travel expenses, he was given a daily allowance. They demanded $2,000 over and above the initial asking price.
Para além do.
We'll need another gallon of milk over and above what we already have. Higher safety standards are needed over and above the ones already in place. This $200 million is over and above the government's previous spending plans. Diplomats receive a generous living allowance over and above their basic salaries. I'll need another $20 over and above the amount you have already given me. You've been eating too much food over and above what is required for good nutrition. Peanut butter is a wholesome food, but it will put you over and above your daily calorie limits.
Loose cannon. Descontrolado.
He's seen as something of a loose cannon by other team members. Jack is considered a loose cannon due to his volatile personality. He's a loose cannon, and the smallest things will send him into a fit of rage.
Descontrolado.
As it turned out, he's not just a loose cannon. He makes sense. Some loose cannon in the State Department has been leaking stories to the press. He was a loose cannon before, but he's got a bit of a brain now. We can't trust her to talk to the press. She's a loose cannon. He was also getting a reputation for being a loose cannon, an accident waiting to happen. Thompson can be a loose cannon. He's not easy to control. He has a reputation as a loose cannon whose comments sometimes upset Wall Street.
Bank for runs back. Custo-benefício.
This option offers more bang for your buck. Buyers get more bang for their buck with our cars. I didn't get anywhere near the bang for the buck I expected. You get a lot of bang for your buck with their products.
Você consegue muito custo-benefício com os produtos deles.
You get a lot of bang for your buck with their products. Get the combo platter. You get better bang for your buck. Classy sports cars with huge bang for your buck.
Bank for your buck.
To me, short films are the best value and most bang for your buck. But with this much firepower, you expect a lot more bang for your buck. There's a lot of bang for your buck with this disc. That restaurant is great, and the prices are very reasonable. You get a lot of bang for your buck. How much bang for the buck did you really think you would get from a 12-year-old car?
Low-hanging fruit.
First, pick the low-hanging fruit.
Que tiver mais fácil.
We know mining our own customer base is low-hanging fruit.
Uma alternativa mais fácil, né?
Each of these products might lead us to a low-hanging fruit. You get all the low-hanging fruit in the first year, Eggert says. Their low-hanging fruit had long since been plucked. But the low-hanging fruit lies in automation applications. But email is just the low-hanging fruit of the wireless data market. He is picking the low-hanging fruit, said one analyst. Don't be satisfied with the low-hanging fruit. Go after the hard sell types. The easy changes have all been made. All the low-hanging fruit has been picked. When cutting costs, many companies start with the low-hanging fruit, their ad budgets. I'm a great believer in picking low-hanging fruit. Start with what's easy and go higher later. We've already tackled the low-hanging fruit, so it's time to move on to the difficult problems. The low-hanging fruit on the energy front is curbing demand, meaning more energy conservation.
Expediente mais fácil. Turn over a new leaf. New leaf. Passar a comportar-se melhor.
Avery's response is to turn over a new leaf.
A resposta de Avery é passar a comportar-se melhor.
Avery's response is to turn over a new leaf. Apparently, the boy has turned over a new leaf. He seems to have genuinely turned over a new leaf. He says he's turned over a new leaf, but I have my doubts. She turned over a new leaf and began getting to work on time. This is a new project to help ex-prisoners turn over a new leaf. Every New Year's, we make resolutions to turn over a new leaf. He realized he was in the wrong and promised to turn over a new leaf.
Virar a página.
I have made a mess of my life. I'll turn over a new leaf and hope to do better. It was a little more than 2 years ago, and I was trying to turn over a new leaf.
Cut from the same cloth. Muito parecidas.
Our mothers were cut from the same cloth.
Muito parecidas.
Don't assume all women are cut from the same cloth. They were, in many respects, cut from the same cloth. His brother was cut from an altogether different cloth. It's often said that London critics are all cut from the same cloth. Don't assume all the women in our family are cut from the same cloth. The country's new president is cut from the same cloth as his predecessor. She and her brother are cut from the same cloth. They both tell lies all the time.
Farinha do mesmo saco. Cut from the same cloth.
Julia and her mother are cut from the same cloth, as they are both so kind and sweet.
Da mesma natureza.
I hate the snow, but my kids just love it. They are definitely cut from the same cloth.
Farinha do mesmo saco. Strings attached.
I got a loan of $5,000 with no strings attached.
Sem compromisso. Só tomei um empréstimo de 5.000 sem compromisso.
I got a loan of $5,000 with no strings attached.
Sem compromisso. With no strings attached.
He's giving us the house with no strings attached. They wanted a lot of money with no strings attached. You can earn up to $5,000 cash back, no strings attached. So instead, I'm offering it as a simple gift, no strings attached. It was a relationship without strings, which suited them both. Beware of any deal that claims to come with no strings attached. You don't get anything for free. There are always strings attached.
Há sempre contrapartidas.
They give each of the children $10,000 a year with no strings attached. I really wanted to give this money to my family with no strings attached.
Story of my life.
I meet a nice man and he's already married. Story of my life.
Essa é uma constante na minha vida.
Our plans, our hopes, what becomes of them? Nothing. Story of my life. Perfect fit, really, and truly the story of my life, putting everyone else first. We're making fools of ourselves, Rachel said. That's the story of my life, Neil replied. They decided to hire someone who has a relative in the company. Story of my life, man. Pope Francis likes to speak of the God of surprises, and this is truly the story of my life.
Uma constante na minha vida.
I asked the new girl at work to go out for a meal, and she got off with the waiter. That's the story of my life. Honestly, it's the story of my life. I meet a totally gorgeous bloke, and he's leaving for Australia the next day. I can't believe another girl broke up with me because she wanted to date my friend. I swear, it's the story of my life. I rushed through the meeting to get to the airport, and then the plane was 3 hours late. That's the story of my life.
Cross that bridge when it comes to it.
Waiting to cross that bridge when you come to it could be disastrous.
esperar para lidar com o problema quando ele chegar pode ser desastroso.
In any case, you'll cross that bridge when you come to it, if you need to. If we can't sell the house, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I could just say quit your worrying and cross that bridge when you come to it. If they later raise rates and institutions balk, cross that bridge when you come to it. I don't know how we'll pay the bills if you quit your job, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The job interview is a week away, so I'm not worried about it yet. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Do you know if that road is still closed? Nope, so I guess we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. It's possible we'll eventually have more books than available space for them, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Where will we stop tonight? At the next town. What if all the hotels are full? Let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Like clockwork.
Their assembly line runs like clockwork.
Pontualmente.
They would arrive like clockwork just before dawn. Ruth arrives every Wednesday morning, just like clockwork. You can count on his schedule, which is regular as clockwork. Every day at 3 o'clock, like clockwork, he comes in here for a cup of coffee. Every 3 years, regular as clockwork, the great Ann Tyler produces a new novel. The event ran like clockwork. The project proceeded like clockwork. The journey there went like clockwork. So far, everything had worked like clockwork. He soon had the household running like clockwork. With the help of everyone, the day ran like clockwork.
Sem problemas. Works on the way up.
I worked my way to the center of the crowd.
Eu abri caminho até o centro da multidão.
I worked my way to the center of the crowd. They started working their way cautiously down the side of the mountain. The painters are working their way from the top floor to the basement. I started working my way through the crowd. I walked into the house, working my way through the debris to the back. He had worked his way into her heart. She is slowly working her way to the top of the company. I'm trying to work my way into the publishing world. The rumors were working their way through the crowd, making everything still more volatile. She is working her way through law school.
Ele está trabalhando para custear.
She's working her way through college.
Trabalhando para custear.
There are thousands, maybe millions of students working their way through college. I was working my way through university by singing covers of Billy Joel and Elton John songs. Working your way up the mountain is difficult. Mitch was working his way up the hill with a heavy pack on his back. We also saw a number of riders on fat tire bikes slowly working their way up the mountain. She quickly worked her way up to vice president.
Acendeu, worked her way up.
Junior workers might be losing an opportunity to work their way up. Start as a beginner and work your way up to advanced. They worked their way up the management chain quickly. He worked his way up through the company to become a senior manager. We are having to start up the club from the bottom and work our way up. It's the American dream, working your way up from nothing.
Meio que
Sherry's phone call really made my day.
me deixou muito feliz.
Your smile makes my day.
Ganho o dia com teu sorriso.
Getting compliments at work always makes my day.
Makes my day.
Hearing her voice on the phone really made my day. Go on, tell him you like his new suit. It'll make his day. Seeing those little kids having so much fun just made my day. She said I looked nice, which made my day. Thank you for the unexpected gift. It really made my day. A mention in her favorite mag would make her day. It made my day to see his smiling face. Come on, Bill, send Tom a card and make his day. It was a joy to see. It really made my day. When my neighbors surprised me with homemade chocolate chip cookies, it really made my day.
The time of one's life.
Everyone will be having the time of their life except me.
Se divertindo muito.
They all seem to be having the time of their lives.
Se divertindo muito.
Presley is having the time of his life at club level. Now, my personality is suited to the English game, and I'm having the time of my life.
Divertindo muito.
He looked like he was having the time of his life. We had the time of our lives at the party. We had the time of our lives at the beach. The children were having the time of their lives. And I suspect that, like myself, they were all having the time of their life. I was truly having the time of my life. I am finally having the time of my life, I thought. Might as well enjoy it. So here I was at 20, finally having the time of my life.
Your guess is as good as mine.
As for when he'll arrive, your guess is as good as mine.
Sei tanto quanto você.
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Eu não sei. Não sei mais do que você.
When's the next bus coming? Your guess is as good as mine. Where did it come from? Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. Do you think she'd go out with me if I asked her? Your guess is as good as mine. Are there any good movies playing tonight? Your guess is as good as mine. How long should we bake this pie? Your guess is as good as mine. Why aren't things getting any better? Your guess is as good as mine.
Sei tanto quanto você.
Who do you think will win the World Cup? Your guess is as good as mine. How much longer do you think it will last? Your guess is as good as mine.
Sua aposta é tão boa quanto a minha. Save for a rainy day.
I know you want to buy a new TV with your Christmas bonus, but you should really save it for a rainy day.
Guardar para uma necessidade futura.
I save a portion of my wages each month for a rainy day. I've saved a little money for a rainy day. Luckily, she had saved some money for a rainy day. Put it in a box in your guitar case and save it for a rainy day. Saving for a rainy day and paying off debts is now a top priority for families. Job loss fears are forcing millions of consumers to save for a rainy day rather than borrow. Keep some extra allowance for a rainy day. I'll put the rest in the bank for a rainy day. These people spent the money when they had it. They did not put it by for a rainy day.
Hot on the Hills.
The two men were running with a police officer hot on their heels.
Na cola deles.
Look, the cops are hot on their heels. They better pull over fast. Look, the cops are hot on the heels of the bank robbers. The new revelation comes hot on the heels of the previous scandal. The gardener burst in with Mrs. Cartwright hot on his heels. She left the restaurant with him hot on her heels.
Na cola dela.
The shocking news comes hot on the heels of the company axing its site in Scotland. The leading candidate should be concerned. The underdog is hot at his heels. The one-time underdog is hot on the heels of the leading candidate. Great Britain's Dave Hall and Jessica Smith were hot on their heels.
Na cola deles.
She may lose the title of valedictorian to one of the students who are hot at her heels. The police were hard on their heels. I got bronchitis, hard on the heels of a lengthy cold. Unfortunately, bad news has come hard on the heels of good. A second mistake followed hard on the heels of the first one. This disaster comes hard on the heels of last week's train crash. Since the dog was hard on my heels, I was very relieved to reach my house and run inside. The major mobile phone manufacturers are hard on Apple's heels. Apple is hard on Google's heels, having already applied for a home automation patent. We need to tighten up on defense because these guys are hard on our heels right now. The next generation of British athletes is pressing hard on the heels of today's champions.
What gives? O que se passa? What gives?
What gives with you and Martha?
What gives?
You've been acting weird all week. What gives? Where's my wallet? What gives? I haven't seen you for a few weeks. What gives? Hey, what gives? Who left this here? What gives? He croaked in an annoyed tone. It's been 2 years since I've seen you. What gives?
O que se passa?
Hey man, what gives? What's your secret? You know, with the ladies. That's 3 days in a row you've worn your blue dress. What gives?
O que se passa?
Not even 30 minutes after leaving the shower, I start getting itches on my head. What gives? Hey, you guys, what gives? Nothing, just a little misunderstanding. Tom's a little angry.
Be all and all.
His work was the be-all and end-all of his existence.
A coisa mais importante. Be all and all.
To provide help for others is the be-all and end-all of this group. He acts as if making money is the be-all and end-all of human existence. It's not the be-all and end-all, you know. I still love acting, but it's not the be-all and end-all anymore. Price, he said, is not the be-all and end-all for drinkers. Sally is the be-all and end-all of Don's life. Love is not the be-all and end-all of life. It is only a part of life, she says. Prices and efficiency shouldn't be the be-all and end-all of governmental policy.
Os fatores mais importantes.
Finishing the building of his boat became the be-all and end-all of Roger's existence.
Finalidade máxima. Take the stand. Subiu a tribuna.
She took the stand and quietly answered questions.
Take the stand.
Lopez is the first celebrity to take the stand in the trial.
Testificar.
My question to the panel is if you think Scott will take the stand at trial. The 32-year-old took the stand and testified in an LA courtroom yesterday. Today, he took the stand to testify at the trial of his neighbor charged with the murder. The psychiatrist took the stand and proceeded to analyze why I chose to have my baby at home. Then Paul took the stand and said simply, "I've done nothing wrong against the Jewish religion." The tension was thick when Cardona took the stand and took the jury through her life history. The man on trial for murdering members of the Warlocks biker gang took the stand and said that he was in fear for his life.
Subiu a tribuna. On the money.
Your estimate is right on the money.
Está corretíssima.
His prediction was right on the money. Your new idea is right on the money. That's a good answer, Bob. You're right on the money. I won the contest because my guess was on the money. I think her assessment of the situation is right on the money. His weather forecasts are always on the money. Her guess was right on the money. Every criticism she made was right on the money. Shania guessed there were 126 jelly beans, and she was right on the money.
Take the stall. Take the stall.
The constant stress takes its toll on emergency room workers.
Tem seu preço. Take stall.
The Civil War has taken its toll on both sides. The heavy truck traffic has taken its toll on the highways. The stress was beginning to take its toll on their marriage. Time had taken its toll on the old bridge, and it was no longer sound. Heavy smoking and drinking will take its toll on a person's health. Her illness has taken a toll on her marriage. This has taken a toll on me that no one understands. All those late nights working on my term paper really took a toll on me.
Tiveram seu preço.
The stress of everything took its toll, and my health began to deteriorate. And that would take a heavy toll on the EU.
E isso teria grave efeito na União Europeia.
And that would take a heavy toll on the EU. The recession has taken a heavy toll on the economy. The stress and strain of modern life are taking a heavy toll on the human mind. The ongoing cold bite will take a heavy toll on winter crops, experts have warned.